Hello students, welcome you back for the second lecture series on the signal distortion that can occur in a fiber optic system. And the signal distortion discussed in this video is going to be on dispersion loss. There is a little recap on what we have done in last video lecture. It says about how do dispersion occurs, what are the parameters to study in dispersion characterization. The third one, what are the types of the dispersions we have seen into it. In this lecture series, we will be studying about material and waveguide dispersion. So material dispersion, as you know that I have already explained, it occurs due to the variation in the refractive index of the core material due to N1 value. N1 is nothing but your N1 is nothing but the refractive index of the core, refractive index of core material. Okay. This core material, when it is have a different refractive index, depending upon the group velocity VGE gets varied. If you have one lambda source, it is either traveled as VG lambda 1 or it can travel as VG lambda 2. So once you take, you have three different outputs. Input is the spectral input line width. You have the spectrum to be passed into it. You will have your output with some pulse spread. So due to the N1, because it is a wave dependent length, you have different group velocity, and due to this different group velocity, you have a broadened pulse output. So that's what has been given over here. The refractive index is now taken with respect to the glass. So different colors have different velocity in the glass. And you have n as a function of wavelength. So you have different velocities to be defined, and that will produce some time delay. We need to calculate what is the material dispersion loss which is occurring due to the time delay or group delay parameter. The material dispersion loss is proportional to the second derivative. So it is d squared by d lambda squared. So you need to calculate the second derivative with respect to your n1 parameter. So that's what has been defined in this mathematical calculation. How do we calculate tau mat? So here tau mat is your group delay due to material dispersion. This is your group velocity. So tau is proportional inversely to group velocity. Remember? So that's how we have defined this equation, and we have got this in terms of the product length lambda and n1, because your component variation in n1 is capable of producing different group velocity, and this different group velocity is capable of producing your tau value. Now from tau mat we need to calculate what is sigma. Sigma is your pulse spread. Sigma is your pulse spread. So sigma valued pulse spread is d L sigma lambda. Sigma lambda is the Gaussian input pulse. It's your Gaussian input pulse. D lambda you can calculate from the dispersion material loss depending upon the fiber used with N1 material. L is the length of your fiber. So from that you can calculate what is the pulse spread occurred due to your material dispersion loss. So here you can define how the graphs have been seen over. This is taken with respect to the book Kaiser. Now you can see different types of index to refraction. The various materials you use, N1 value is different. You will get different DMAT value. So you will get your dispersion loss of different values for the variation in N1 and lambda. N1 and lambda. You can consider an example. How to calculate your material dispersion loss. I've taken a input source of LED, gallium aluminum arsenide. The spectral line width sigma lambda is 40 nanometer. The information of your LED is having a peak power of 800 nanometer. The pulse spread, so your material dispersion loss pulse sigma g is going to be 4.4 nanoseconds. So how to calculate the value has been given in this equations. I can explain you that one. So you have sigma lambda, first one, 40 nanometer. Lambda is your LED source. LED source is gallium aluminum arsenide. Okay. Now you need to find out sigma pulse spread due to material, sigma mat by L. Sigma L, you know, 40 nanometer. D mat is taken from your, in this graph. So the material is aluminum gallium arsenide, so it is 120 internally. So it is taken over here, multiplied is 4.4 nanoseconds per kilometer. We always note that this tau, the differential value of your tau is proportional to the length of the fiber. Material dispersion loss calculated from this graph multiplied into that of sigma lambda, which is your spectral input line width. The next one is going to be on waveguide dispersion. Waveguide dispersion loss, it occurs due to that 20% of your power wasted in the cladding material. So we have already studied about modes which travel, propagate inside the fiber medium. It can be defined in terms of the mode frequency or mode number. If it is a single mode, you will have the mode number to be defined for B is equal to 2.40. If it is a multi-mode, you can calculate the mode frequency or mode number using this equation. So depending upon N1, refractive index of clad, now you are having clad because your power is being done with respect to clad, and your refractive index difference, you are calculating your mode number, and due to this mode number you have the power loss or the pulse spread occurring in your waveguide dispersion. So here we consider that N is not dependent on the wavelength. In fact, it is dependent on the propagation constant beta. You can find out very clearly. Waveguide dispersion in single mode fibers, because single mode fibers have a significant of your material in your waveguide dispersion loss. So the pulse spread is the another factor we need to calculate. So pulse spread sigma Wg is calculated from length L of the fiber, input Gaussian pulse spectral line with sigma lambda, and the waveguide loss occurred. And the waveguide loss is going to be the second derivative function. Remember, we have told that the waveguide dispersion occurs due to the second derivative of your mode number. That's how we have calculated over here. So the pulse spread is proportional to length of the fiber, refractive index of the clad, and the mode number. So that's what has been summarized here. You have V number to be inversely proportional to lambda, V number is proportional to propagation constant, and N is not a function of a wavelength. So these three are the findings. V is inversely proportional to lambda, V is proportional to the difference in the propagation constant, N is not a function of wavelength in waveguide dispersion loss. The reference have been taken from the CASP optoelectronics paper published under Printers Hall. These graphs have been taken from that book. So here you can find out two graphs which are representing your material and waveguide dispersion. First graph shows that the dotted line shows about material dispersion loss. The waveguide dispersion loss is shown on the downward stream. Total dispersion loss that can occur at 0 level, you can check out this point, it's 0 level, it is going to be 132 nanometer, and the fiber is a single mode fiber. So at the operating, there should be an optimal frequency in which the light is being confined into your fiber medium. The optimum laser frequency or LED wavelength can be of the spectral line width wavelength of 1320 in order to have a minimal dispersion loss occurring to the system. That's what has been represented here. You can read this one. You have N2 as 1.4, so it is a refractive index of your clad. Delta is the refractive difference, relative difference. V number is 2.4, therefore it is single mode fiber. You have chosen an optimal frequency of 1320 because at this point we have a minimum dispersion loss occurring to the system. Okay, so waveguide dispersion is very important to be chosen with this frequency. So once you have the spectral wavelength to be chosen between 1270 to 1320, you have the dispersion parameter cancelling each other. There is no material waveguide, there is no waveguide dispersion. Material dispersion and waveguide dispersion cancels each other to produce a zero total dispersion loss. So that particular optical frequency of wavelength is going to be from 127 to 1320 nanometer. The same thing is being represented from the Kaiser book. How does the material dispersion loss look into it? How does the waveguide dispersion? And where you have your cancellation effect, and optimized value is 13 nanometer. Again, you can see over here in this graph, where do you get your 0 point of your dispersion? It is 132 nanometer. So at this point, material and waveguide can be minimized. So we say that intramodal dispersion, we have studied material, waveguide, sigma mat, and sigma WG is being calculated. It can be used for single mode and multi-mode fibers, whereas intermodal dispersion is used only for multi-mode fibers. So this is one video link which you can click in and you can find out how the dispersion loss, you can see practically how the loss is occurring when a light wave is propagated inside the fiber material. It can be either due to a material dispersion or it can be due to the chromatic dispersion. So in this we conclude the dispersion loss calculation for intramodal method. Thank you.